Hi, friends, and welcome to the Cheer Theory Podcast, the place where positivity isn't just a buzzword, it's a practice and a way of life. I'm your host. I'm Bella. Nice to meet you. And around here, we strongly believe that cheering on others isn't just something you do on the sidelines or at periods of time. It's the cure to just about everything: the doubt, the fear, the worries, every tiny little negative voice that you and you hear in your head on a daily basis. This cures it all. Think about it, okay? What happens when you clap for someone else? The physical action of clapping. You feel a shift, okay? It's a distraction. It resets you completely, and it's an instant gratification and smile that comes across your face. Okay? You shift your energy from comparison to celebration. You remind yourself that good things are possible, my friends. And somehow, in the act of lifting them, you end up lifting yourself too. That's the heart of the cheer theory, my friends. It's a fact of the never-ending upgrade spiral of constantly just cheering on others as a chain reaction. It cheers on yourself and it keeps going down the line. Okay. So, today in our very first conversation, I want to explore the simple but powerful idea of cheering on others and how it truly is the cure to all things. So, to start us off, we're going to talk about the power of cheering. Let's start with a story. At a very young age, I was actually 5 years old. That was when I was really just starting kindergarten. I remember going to my first grade classroom and seeing the peers and how excited they were, right? Well, then I got to my kindergarten class and I was terrified and everybody was so quiet. And there was a young boy who was emotionally impaired, and it was very, very well known that he just couldn't control his emotions, and everybody avoided him like the plague. And I was an individual that was taught from a young age from my amazing parents that just when someone looks different, those are the people you attract to. Those are the people that need the extra love and the extra cheer. And this young boy was one of the sweetest people I've ever met in my life. He just didn't know how to control when he was angry. And at 5, I didn't fully understand that. I just saw that he was upset all the time. And then I saw when he was really happy, he was really nice, right? And so a lot of the other kids just couldn't correlate, couldn't relate, and didn't give him the time of day. And I was eventually assigned to sit next to him. And I didn't just sit next to him in kindergarten on the first day of class. I sat next to him in first grade, sat next to him in second grade and third grade, and all the way through until he ended up switching schools. But the reason being is because I was the one person that continuously cheered him on. I was the person that would talk him off a ledge of anger versus happiness. I was the person that whenever he was upset, I knew that if I just sat next to him for a second and I said, "Buddy, you're okay," everything would be fine. I was the person who teachers looked to not only cheer on this kid and remind him of who he was, but again, to remind the teachers that they're just doing their job. And I cheered them on too. And since that moment in time, I remember how amazing it was to see the reaction of not only my peer, but of the teachers, to know that they felt loved and understood and that everything was going to be okay. Right. And the reaction started there. The chain of events, the never ending growth of just learning the power of cheering on others. And what surprised me most about it is the fact that the heaviness instantly lifted. It lifted and it relieved the room. I may not have been the one that was angry. I may not have been the one that was having the blowout, but you feel the heaviness when someone's upset in a room. And all it took was me saying, "Hey, you got this. Everything's gonna be okay. We're gonna take a deep breath. We're gonna reset. And we'll be fine." At the age of 5, I'm telling him to take a deep breath and it'll be okay. And you know what? We'll play together. Don't worry about what the other kids say. We got this, right? You're an amazing person. We can do it. And you instantly, the cloud, the fogs, it's all gone and the heaviness is lifted. And instead of the resentment that he felt towards those other kids that were picking on him, or whatever reason he was upset, most of the time it was because kids were picking on him, he felt inspired. And instead of envy, he felt connected. And it was one of those moments that you could instantly see in a blink of an eye. The anger just relieved, the tension was gone, and he just sat in his happiness, and the room felt the exact same way. Okay, it felt the exact same way. And not only did that work for him, but it worked for every other kid. You hear the power of somebody cheering, you hear somebody cheering on for somebody else, and you can't help but feel the love and support in the air, right? And so when you're upset, it's the same thing. You instantly start cheering on somebody else. And take a football game, for example, okay? You're losing and your team's not doing great and you're upset, but you don't stop cheering. right? You don't stop cheering, and you can feel the power shift and the uplift of your energy when that cheer just releases. Okay. You feel it. You feel the release. You feel the excitement. You feel it all. Right. And the crazy part is I'm not just telling you this story because it's my own personal experience, but you guys, science backs it. Seriously, studies on gratitude, encouragement, and positive reinforcement show that when you build others up by a single ounce of kindness, by a single cheer, you actually boost your own mood, lower your stress, and even strengthen your sense of purpose. It's like a double win. Literally, you're cheering on somebody else, you're helping boost their mood, you're boosting yourself, but actually it's a triple win because you boost the environment around you. It's the energy you put out bounces right back at you. So do you want to be the negative influence that's always constantly spewing out the negativity? Or when times are tough and when times are good, you decide to cheer and you decide to always bring that supportive, positive energy. And guess what? You will receive it in return. And it may not always feel that way. You may feel like times are tough, you're the only one cheering, but you keep cheering. You keep cheering. And what I have noticed and what has really changed my life is in the hardest moments of my life, the moments where I had nothing. I sold everything I had. I was out of a relationship. I was forced to drop out of medical school. I had just left a cult. I luckily had paid my last month's of rent with my last paycheck, but I had nothing besides what was in one singular room, and I was selling every ounce of those belongings to just stay alive. But the crazy part is I had never felt more inspired in my entire life. I had never felt more frustrated in my entire life, more annoyed in my entire life, but I was inspired. And the inspiration came because in those situations, the situation of leaving this multi-level marketing firm and cult that I was in was I didn't stop cheering on those people that I was with. Okay. We all left. We left in unison. It was a trickle down effect. Myself, I left first, and my coworker and I left at the same time. But after we left, everyone else just kept going. And everyone was terrified. This was our life. This was our belief system. This is what we were taught to dive into 14 plus hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, right? And everyone didn't know where to go. We were all lost. We all were just an uproar of worries and emotions because most of us, our families had completely let us go because they didn't understand what we were in. And that's what we were also taught to do. And rather than sitting there in fear and worry and not knowing what was coming next, because internally I obviously knew that, I sat there inspired. I sat there excited. I sat there fired up about the opportunity of a fresh start and change. And it wasn't because I naturally felt that way. It was because those were the things I was speaking out to those exact same people. The ones that had enough faith in me and my friends and each other to know that everything was going to be okay. I cheered and I cheered and I reminded them of who they are. And I reminded them of the capabilities that they had. I reminded them of their heart. I reminded them that they got themselves out of a horrible situation. Who in their right mind can easily say they left a position, a cult, an organization that tainted their belief system, that forced them to believe a certain way? One in a million, because most don't. And you know what? If you can do that, you can do anything. And it was that constant cheering, and it was that constant uplifting, and it was that constant support of knowing that everything was going to be okay. And because I was speaking that out into existence, it bounced right back at me. And I felt the exact same way. We all think of the concept of cheering others on as just this occasional thing. You only do it when times are tough, and you tell them how proud you are of them when times are good. But what we don't think about is the concept of daily cheering and how it's not meant to be a temporary thing. There's always a reason to pick somebody up. There's always a reason to celebrate. There's always a reason to add an extra push into somebody's life. And the thing is when you are speaking that out to them, you are also relaying it back to yourself. You are reminding yourself of those exact same things. Exact same things, right? It's the energy, it's the shift, it's the bounce, it's the feeling of what you are saying in those moments. And we talk about this all the time. We talk about negativity and how it's so toxic, right? And how it can be such a terrible resource in terms of that's what we're always surrounded by is negativity. But we don't talk about the fact that it's up to us to flip the switch. And cheering is that switch. And so at the very beginning of this, I had mentioned the fact that cheering is the cure. And it is. It's the cure for all. And we talk about it and we say, why do I call the cheering the cure? And everybody always laughs at me when I say that because they're like, cheering, what are you talking about? You only cheer someone on when they're struggling. You only cheer somebody out on a sporting event. You only cheer somebody on when they accomplish something, right? Or they're at the finish line and they need that extra push. But, every day is a finish line. Every day is a new race. Every day is a fresh start, and this is all of our first times of doing life. So why would we not cheer each other on through the entire process? Right? And the thing is cheering every day, cheering every day changes everything. And then again, it changes your mindset, it changes your personality. I mean, think about it. You're feeling jealous? Cheer anyway. Cheer for that person. There's somebody that is achieving something that you've always wanted to do and achieve. Just because they're achieving it does not mean they took that opportunity away from you. It doesn't. It just means that your turn has yet to come. Their progress can remind you that that moment and that momentum still exists. You just have to keep cheering, not just for them, but for yourself, right? You're feeling stuck. You're feeling stuck. You don't understand what's happening. And you see others growing, getting married, getting their dream jobs, traveling the world, doing all these things you've always wanted to do. And you're just stuck in the exact same place you've always been, not knowing what your purpose is, what you're meant to do, or any of those things. Find someone to cheer on. Find a stranger who looks like they're frowning. Find someone who is struggling at a self checkout and say, "Oh, you got this. I can help you with that." And notice the just instantaneous feeling that you're building not only a connection, but you are lifting somebody up. And in turn, you're lifting up yourself, right? And it reminds you again that just because you feel stuck now doesn't mean you're not moving, doesn't mean you're not growing, doesn't mean that you're not taking the right proper steps and actions. And it doesn't mean that you're not going to get there. It just means that things slow down for a second. You're still moving. You're still moving. Always. And if you're feeling alone and you're feeling like you're fighting this battle of life alone, you're fighting yourself alone, you're fighting work alone, you're fighting family alone, whatever it is, cheer someone on. Because guess what? Your ability to cheer them on is a small win for you. It's proving that just because you're feeling alone, you still had the authenticity and audacity and strength and courage to cheer somebody else on to make sure they didn't feel that same way. And in turn, you will no longer feel alone. You will see the smile on their face, and instantly, not only are you uplifting yourself, but you're building that connection, and the loneliness disappears as quickly as fog does when the sun comes up. You just have to do it. You just have to do it. And sometimes cheering can just be saying something positive like, "Hey, you look amazing today. Hey, I love that you're smiling." It's as little as that. And just know that cheering doesn't mean you ignore your struggles. Never. It means that you refuse to let them eat you alive. It means you refuse to let comparison, bitterness, or silence win. Cheering is an active action of hope. It is a sign that even though you know you are struggling, you know that things are not going your way, you keep pushing and pushing and pushing. It's proof to someone else that winning doesn't just take time, effort, and strategy. And winning isn't just about you winning, it's about all of us winning. Because one of us wins, we all win. And if you took the time to cheer somebody else on and that person wins, my friends, you're winning too. That time, the effort, the energy that you put into cheering on that other person is a direct reflection of you. And you're winning. And your energy and your time that you took to cheer them on the first place. And remember that cheering on somebody else on their good days, on the days where they achieve the biggest things, it's proof that someone else's win does not take away from yours. And it's proof that your win, when you are the one that is accomplishing everything and you still cheer on for those that are struggling or those that are going through a rough patch, it is proof that just because you are winning doesn't mean that they can't too. It is actually expanding what's possible for everyone and making it the endless, endless amount of possibilities that we talk about all the time, right? That's what it's doing, genuinely. The concept of cheering doesn't just stop when a game is finished, when a goal is achieved, because there's always something else to reach for. Always, 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 always. And it's funny because I've been an athlete my entire life. I was a cheerleader when I was younger, and then I transitioned to softball when I was 12 years old. And I dove in. I dove in, and I always had just, I was always so built and muscular and strong. And so sports weren't necessarily hard for me, but I started out in Little League as we all do. And, Little League is Little League. And there's not everyone that's meant to be there or meant to be star athletes and whatever. But that's the thing about it is it's welcoming for all, right? And this is where my concept of cheering really took off. This is where the idea of me being a walking definition of a cheerleader came into play. And it's because I was a good little kid. I was good. I did amazing. But I was never focused about me, myself, and me. And I've never been that way. I was always more worried in a game situation about making sure everyone felt cheered on because you know what? When you're in a team, just because you're in a team doesn't mean like you feel like you're in a team, right? It's the people around you, it's the support that you receive that really makes you feel like you are part of a team. So be that driving force. Because my favorite thing to do was to find those that I could tell were struggling or were new or were terrified and to sit down with them and learn about them and talk to them and just cheer them on. Every time they took the strength and the opportunity and the courage to just swing the bat, whether they hit the ball or not, you best believe I was cheering. You best believe I was cheering. Always. Every time they made contact, I was cheering. Every time they picked the ball up, I was cheering. Every time they made a catch, I treated it like an Olympic sport and they just won the gold medal, right? But the thing is those kids could have cared less about if they had made the catch, if they had gotten hit. The fact of the matter is they had never felt so cared for by their peers in their life. And by me taking the time to cheer them on and watching all of my other peers witness it, it created a movement. And it turned from us just playing a game to us uplifting each other and changing each other's perceptions on things. It turned into a momentum, a philosophy that no matter what, whether you are a good athlete, a good teammate, or a good whatever, as long as you are cheering each other on, you are winning. You are winning. And because of that, there were times where we were the toughest, roughest team and not good at all, but we made it out in the end. We won championships. We didn't win championships. But you know what? The crazy part is whether we won or whether we lost, we were just as proud and excited at the end of the day because we never stopped cheering. And no negative comment, no toxic parent, no bad umpire, no negative teammate was going to take that away from us. We had worked way too hard to get to where we were, and we were so excited to just be able to cheer each other on every moment we got, every chance we got. And that's what life is about, guys. This is all of our first times doing life, all of it. So why we sit here and we feel the need to pick and choose when we want to cheer somebody on, I'll never understand. Because there's nothing worse in the world than feeling alone and feeling like you're not supported and feeling like you don't have a group of people backing you up every step of the day. Because you know what? Life is heavy. Life is heavy. It is so heavy. And when you're constantly being knocked down over and over and over and over again, and you are the one and only person that's always picking yourself up, you get tired, you get strained, and you get heavier and heavier and heavier. And so when sitting here today with you guys and reminiscing on the idea of creating this platform where we can spread the power of cheering, I'm not saying it in a corny way. I'm saying it because it's something our society is lacking. It's something that our world needs. We are constantly surrounded in a world of negativity. And from a very young age, we are born with all the confidence in the world, friends. We don't understand what's good, what's a good thing to do, what's a good way to look, what's a good way to act. We're just proud. We're just here, right? And the thing is it's our society who knocks us down. It's our society who's giving us the reality check. It's our society who's telling you you're not good enough. It's our society who's telling you you need to act a certain way. I don't know when it became a thing for society to tell us who we are, the way we need to act, and the way we need to be, and what we can and cannot do. But that is not up to anyone besides ourselves. And so you learning how to support yourself and cheer yourself on at a young age will change it all. Change it all. But here's the thing is not everyone is going to know how to cheer. Not everyone is going to know how to pick themselves up. And so it is up to you to spread that. It is up to you to take the negativity that our society spews out into the world and flip the switch. Flip the switch and deflect it with every ounce of positivity you have. And that starts with cheering yourself on. And that starts with cheering on those around you. Because when people who notice you and notice that you are not affected by the ways that reality and society act in the sense of you need to be this way, you need to do this, you can't do this, right? When people start to see that you are not affected by that, but you continuously just say, you know what, I got this. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do what I want to do because it's my life. And I'm the one that has to live with the conclusions and the repercussions of the decisions that I make. Nobody else does. So I'm not going to listen to society if that's not what I want to do. If it is, amazing. But if it's not, I know I've got this. That's when a switch flips. That's when you become unstoppable. And it is up to us to spread that same positivity and that same level of cheer into the world. Because if we don't do it, who will? Who will? And now more than ever, when there is so much hatred and so much negativity and so much despise for anyone that is remotely different than us in our thoughts, feelings, behaviors, actions, look, appearance, any of it, we need to start cheering. But it starts with yourself. It starts with yourself always. And it's not hard. It's not hard, friends. It's not. And you don't always have to believe down to your core that, you know what, I've got this, that, and the other, but speak it into existence. Because once you start projecting, it will start reflecting back, right? Write it down. Once you start writing it, you see the physicality of it. And now you have a piece to know, yeah, you're right. I do got this. Always. And encourage those around you to do so. Encourage yourselves to do so. And I challenge you to look in the mirror directly in your eyes like you would with any other person you're communicating with and tell yourself you've got this. I am capable of anything. Only I control the way I feel about myself, the way and the path that I choose for my life to go, the goals that I can and cannot accomplish, the job that I want, the career path that I want to change, right? The family that I want. Only I can decide. And remind yourself of that and cheer yourself on because you're right. Only you can. So why not choose what you want? Why not choose what you want? Right. And to round it out, to leave it on a happy note. And again, this is our first episode, so I really don't want to overwhelm you, but I really wanted to just touch on the act of cheering and how important it is. And at the end of the day, it doesn't have to be something big. But again, I not only challenge you to look at yourself in the mirror and cheer yourself on physically like you would for any other person, but I want you to ask yourself, besides myself, who can I cheer for right now? Who needs an extra step? And it may be a stranger that day. It may be someone close. But the thing is it doesn't have to be anything big. It doesn't have to be anything big, right? Send a quick text telling a friend you're proud of them. Clap for someone's small step forward, right? Open a door and say, hey, you got this today. You look amazing today. Leave a comment that says, I see you. Keep going. Keep pushing. The power of telling someone you see them, you understand the struggles, and you're telling them to keep pushing is so underrated. So underrated. But at the end of the day, don't stop cheering. Just because somebody succeeds, right? Just because they achieve a goal and a goal that you wanted, no less, doesn't mean you stop cheering. It means you celebrate and you cheer on for the next thing and you acknowledge it and you keep going. Think about it this way, right? A last analogy, I promise. Think about it this way. You think about cheerleaders at a football or basketball game, right? If the team's losing, they're cheering hard. They're pushing and pushing, trying to provide that motivation and projecting it onto the athletes, right? That's what they're doing. It's up to them to bring that positivity. Just like how I'm asking us to be the cheerleaders in a world that is struggling, full of negativity. The world is our football team, it's our basketball team, and we are the ones on the sideline pushing out that positivity and projecting it onto the world, right? But not only are they cheering when it's rough and when things are tough, but think about it. When the game is going in your favor, when you've come back after an underdog moment, or when you've come out of the gate swinging and are doing amazing from the jump, right? They keep cheering. They don't stop. They're even more excited. They're even more excited. They keep pushing the entire length of that game from the moment it starts, from the moment the athletes come onto that field or onto that court, they're cheering. And from the moment the last athlete takes the last step off, they're cheering. No matter the outcome of the game, no matter who wins or who loses, they don't stop cheering. And that's what I'm challenging you to be in this world. I'm challenging you to join me. Be a part of the cheer family. Be a part of the cheer squad, the cheer crew that this world needs to succeed and push the boundaries that our society has set in place and project that positivity like no one has ever seen before. No one. On the good days, on the bad days, and the happy and the sad days, no matter what, you keep pushing and you keep cheering. And that's the end of it. And the truth is, someone out there needs to know they're not invisible. And you need to know that you're not as well. And you need to know that your voice carries power. Even if it's 2 words, even if you're just saying, keep going, you got this. Let's go. Right? So right now, I not only challenge us all to say, let's start today, right? Let's start a ripple. No, not just a ripple. I'm talking a full-on tsunami. Cheer for someone and watch how it comes back to you in the most unexpected ways. And watch how your level of love for the life and the world and yourself will drastically grow. Drastically. Remember, friends, there's never a wrong time to be a cheerleader. There's never a wrong time to speak positivity in the world, right? And at the end of the day, y'all, keep being you. Keep being the cheerleader you always needed. Always, 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 always. And I promise the world will reward you more than you even know. Thank you all for joining me for the very first episode of the Cheer Theory podcast, my friends. Remember, life gets lighter when you lift each other up, always. And if this episode encouraged you in any way, please share it out, because trust me, there will be many, many more to come, especially to those that could use an extra cheer today and remind themselves of how much power they truly hold. Because the more voices that are cheering, the louder the echo for hope becomes. And in a world that seems so hopeless, hope definitely is something that's well needed. But until next time, my friends, keep cheering, keep shining, and keep believing the power of encouragement and positivity, because cheering on others really is the cure to everything, my friends. And welcome home. Bye, y'all.